Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Hi, I'm Patrick, Walk for Lost Kids. For the past 7 or 8 years, I've put some time in to fight for the justice to men, women, and children who have been horribly affected by the family court system. I'm going to take a moment to talk about my own personal story, but please hang in there. What I have to say is actually relevant for everyone. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I started doing walks to try to bring light to the fact that our family court system was completely corrupt, that people were not getting justice, that people were being abused by the system. And I learned quickly over a year or two that while my walks were getting a lot of attention from the people who also needed support, they weren't fulfilling their real goal, which was to get the attention of the mainstream media, which a lot of you are coming to understand is very controlled and has its own agenda. So I then put my attention towards online, Facebook posts, building a community to try to educate people as to what was going on in the system. That did pretty well, but was also met with some resistance as they tried to keep people like us from having our voice be heard. So offhand, you wouldn't see how my story may relate to your story, especially if you haven't been involved in the family court system. But with everything going on with COVID now, we are running into a situation where the systems that are in place can now be used against everybody, not against just the people getting divorces. So I want to make you a little bit familiar with how the system works and how it may affect your personal case. So what they've done is they've produced a group of mandated reporters. So these are people that have been given the authority to let people know if there's a problem somewhere with a child. So we've got our teachers, we've got our churches, we've got our medical community, all looking out for children that may be abused or may be in a bad situation, which offhand sounds like a great thing, but too many of these systems have zero due process. They have nobody in place to make sure laws are in effect. So what happens is you've got teachers and pastors and nurses that are reporting, oh, this child looks like it's abused, and then somebody within the CPS system saying, hey, that's abuse, let's get that kid out of there. And a lot of this is not happening with normal court proceedings or anything that you would assume to be true. So now with the COVID thing, what they've done is they've opened up the door so that anyone can pretty much call CPS and say that something's up, and CPS can come in and whisk the kids away. Now, to show you how insane this is, somebody could send their kids to school, and if they send their kids to school without a mask, that might be a threat to the child, and therefore, because your child was sent without a mask, CPS can take your kids. On the other hand, because the whole thing is just subjectively based on what anybody thinks, somebody might send their child to school with a mask, and if their child is sent with a mask, that might be a threat to the child, and therefore CPS gets called in and your child gets whisked away. So as you can see very quickly, anybody is up against the system right now. It doesn't matter if you're in divorce, it doesn't matter if you're anywhere near a family court. The CPS system basically has immunity to come in, decide that whatever you're doing is wrong, and take your kids away. I'm not saying this to be an alarmist. I'm not saying this to be rebellious. I'm just letting you know the way that our current law structure is in place is that CPS and all the systems around CPS have the ability at any point to make up any story they want and to take your kids. And when you see protests or you see events or something you can be involved in order to prevent these agencies from growing or to get involved in some way, we could use your help. And this involves your kids. It doesn't matter whether your kids are in a divorce case. It doesn't matter where your kids are. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and we need your help. We need to shut down these CPS agencies. We need to shut down all the financial systems at the federal level that are making all these things possible through Title 4D, Title 4E. And we need to get back to a world where people can raise their families and not worry about government interference. Thank you for help spreading this. I'm going to include another link to a CPS video that I tried to publish about 6 months ago and was rejected by Facebook.